Hey girl, my name is Anel. Welcome to the Brave in Her podcast, where we inspire, empower, and motivate by sharing our stories of bravery. I strongly believe that by sharing our stories, we open ourselves to healing, but also serve to give hope and inspiration to those who are dealing with a tough situation. We will talk about all topics under the sun. Now let's hear your stories of bravery. Hey girl, thank you for being here today. For this episode, I have a very special guest, which is my husband. He's here to talk about his perspective on being a caregiver to someone who has kidney disease, which that would be me. And so here he is. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, my name is Juan. People know me as Junior, family members and some friends. So get ready, guys. Buckle up. It's going to be a ride. A lot of hot questions that I see my wife had written down. So yeah, guys, here we go.
So a little bit about us. We've been together for
10 years.
A little more than 10 years, and being married 8 years, almost 9 years
almost
already.
9 years.
So we've been together for 11 years then. So I wanted to bring him on to give his perspective on being married to someone with kidney disease, but this can also relate to, maybe you have a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, just somebody with kidney disease, and the toll that it takes not only on the patient like myself, but also on the person who's taking care of the person with kidney disease. So let's start with the questions. When you met me and I told you I have kidney disease, what did you think? Did you know anything about kidney disease, or were you curious to know what it was?
So when you mentioned that you had kidney disease, I really didn't think much of it because I didn't have an idea of what it was. So it was new to me. Actually, it was new to me with someone having a disease. If a family member of mine had a disease, it was hidden from me. So this is a first experience with someone that I know has any type of disease, and that was spoken out about it.
And what is your perspective of kidney disease now that we've been married for so long and we've been together for so long? Now, what do you think?
It's rough around the edges, for sure. It's a lot of patience and a lot of fighting. Not fighting between you and I, but fighting to keep moving forward and to never give up. There's a lot of information out there for kidney disease. There's a lot of programs. There's a lot of mentorship for it. From what I see, how you're involved, the outreach is growing, and it's not only growing. It's growing in social media. It's growing in podcasts. It's growing in Zoom. So there's a lot of resources now, from what I see that you're involved in, that pertains to kidney disease.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what me and many others are working really hard to raise awareness on this, really terrible disease. So now a hot question: what's it like to be married to someone with kidney disease?
Hard. It's really hard. You do have, like any relationship, right? You have your bad days. You can have your bad weeks. A couple of weeks, you can have your bad months. And that's normal. That's okay. But with living and being married to someone with kidney disease, it's a roller coaster ride. It's literally a roller coaster ride. You can have your good days. You can have a good day in the morning, and in the evening, you're not feeling well. you're not feeling well. It could be vice versa. It could be you're not feeling well in the morning. You're nauseous. Many times to the restroom because of the medicine that you take. And in the afternoon, you're okay. And we go about our day. And in the evening, it hits again. And you're just not yourself. And I know that these medicines are very strong, very powerful. And they do play with your emotions, right? Yeah. That's not how I should put it. Your hormones. They do right. They do mess with your hormones, and I see that. And being as the support person or the caregiver, it kind of it plays a toll in your head and in your soul and your spirit. It beats you. It beats you against the wall, and it continues to beat you. But you have to keep moving forward. I have to keep moving forward for you and for the household, and not just for you, but I have a lot of responsibility on my shoulders that make sure that you keep moving forward and that I keep spirits lifted, not just for you, but I got to make sure that, hey, I know that in the back of your parents' minds and your family's minds, I know that first they know it firsthand, and they put their trust in me to keep moving you forward and to uplift you when you're down, which I know that I don't do all the time. And I know I know I have failed in those particular area. But yeah, it's definitely a roller coaster. Like I said, it always beats you against the wall. And some days you do have good days, and we do have great days, awesome days. Yeah. So I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, you did. And what are the challenges that you face as a caregiver?
The challenges is being patient and giving the support. You're the first person I've ever met or been with, right? That has an illness, or at least known that I know that you have an illness. So being with someone that has a disease, it's very difficult. It's difficult to understand, to comprehend the challenges that you go through, because what you go through, we go through it. We go through it in the home, and it's my responsibility, my duty to keep the house moving forward and our family moving forward. So it's very difficult with doctor's appointments. It's very difficult with work. It's constant. You have your days, right? Not only kidney disease, but there's other instances where we can touch later where you had pain, right, for almost a year or more. And it's juggling work, it's juggling our daughter's school, and hospital visits and ER visits and urgent visits. And we've gone to doctors where here locally that your case is too difficult for them to comprehend, that it's best that you go to your primary doctor. We had that happen once. So it's definitely difficult. But through the grace of God, that you have to keep pushing forward, because you know that He's there with you. You have to. There's no other choice. There's no other choice. The only choice is to push forward. That's the only choice we have.
Yeah. How has this affected you?
Oh, it affected me tremendously. Like I said, I'd never met anyone that's had an illness before, or a disease for that matter. It has affected me. It's made me more alert, more aware of what's going on in the world. I see that you're plugged in with kidney programs. So it's affecting me that way, that I'm more aware, more alert. It does play a mental toll on you. And, as being the leader of the home, sometimes you fall, you crash, and you have to, like they say, right, you have to pick yourself up. And sometimes it's extremely difficult to do. And to see that you're down and I'm down, man, that's a that's a bad scenario to be in. And we have been there before hundreds of times. Right, honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been there where you're down and I'm down. And a lot of what has affected me in personally is that friends and family don't seem to understand. I guess that's what hurts because they don't know firsthand, right? Your family does know firsthand because, you know, they've been there with you through the procedure and hospitals and doctor's visits, you know, and they see that what the medicine might do to you. But, you know, as a husband, as someone that's not blood related to you, you kind of tend to handle things differently. So it definitely played a toll on my perspective and how to view you and how to mold this house is definitely changed a lot. I didn't see it coming, and I'm still learning. I still have a lot to learn, and I still have a lot of repairing to do from the things that I failed in the past.
So definitely this is a disease that, you know, there's no cure. So, you know, you just, I guess for me, you just learn how to live with it. And for Kidney Month, which is, you know, right now in March, it's really important for me to, yes, raise awareness about the disease, but also talk about not just about, you know, the patient is going through, but also what the caregiver is going through. So you just heard my husband telling, you know, his perspective and how it has affected him. And it affects really the entire family. Like how he said, is not only affecting the patient, but it affects the entire family. If I'm sick, then everyone else suffers, not just me going through the pain. And it's not just me going through this disease. It's definitely the entire family going through it. And I just want, you know, raise awareness on that too, not just for the patient, but also for the caregivers. And, you know, to let them know that they're not alone. There's other people who are going through the same thing. And that's just really important for me to, for others to know. Do you have any advice for caregivers, spouse, partner, boyfriend, significant other that is going through this similar scenario where their partner, significant other has kidney disease and it's just really hard?
Yeah. First, I want to say that you are going to fail. That's 100% true. You will fail. You will be rude. You will be offensive. You will feel that you want to give up. But, you know, for me, you know, I always, what's been instilled in my head is from my parents that they're extremely hard workers till today. You know, they're in the mid 60s and they still work extremely hard. So I see that in them. So when I that kind of plays a role in my marriage is not to give up. You know, the only, nothing in this world, in this earthly world can bring me to my knees except for, you know, our Lord and Savior. Nothing will bring me to my knees except for him. So that advice that I give you is you have to get plugged in and you have to try to learn to understand your partner. Be extremely patient and extremely with capital letters and bold. You have to be patient. You have to be understanding. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be soft. And when your wife is or partner is down and they want to be left alone, sometimes it is the best thing to do is just to leave them alone and so they can recollect themselves. And on the positive side, there is a positive side because you get to learn. You get to learn all these cool things, right? Medicines and the terminology and doctor's visits and the doctors that my wife sees, man, they're amazing, right? I feel like I was introduced to when I was introduced to my wife's father and mother, that's normal, right? But I feel like that I had to go through the same process with my wife's doctors because they've been a part of her life just as long. I mean, since she was a baby. So it's fun, it's some parts it's fun. It's going to the doctors and see how she's doing and getting the good news, right? And I encourage you to be a part of that too, to make an effort to be a part of doctor's appointments, make an effort to pick up prescription drugs, make an effort to go, because who wants to pick up prescription drugs? Really, it sucks, right? It's not to prescription drugs. You're not getting candy at the store. It sucks getting prescription drugs. So it's to be there with your partner, just go. Doctor's appointments, make an effort to attend these doctor's appointments, and be patient. Try to be understanding, be vulnerable, and just see it. Just try to understand it with an open heart.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I think just trying to understand, if, from a patient perspective, just a little more understanding goes a long way, because oftentimes we feel that we're misunderstood because no one really understands what we're going through unless they're walking in our shoes. And it's really hard. This disease is really hard because, at least in my situation, one day, I'm feeling good, and the other day I'm not, and I have to make up for the days that I'm not feeling so well. So I have to work, sometimes double or harder than most people. And I'm the kind of person that, I'm driven and I want to do all the things, right? So having that support from my husband has been really great, and him understanding. It hasn't been always, perfect, like how he said earlier. It hasn't, he hasn't been understanding, all the time. We're not going to sit here and pretend that it's been perfect, but he's definitely learning, and definitely his support, him being more supportive with me, has helped us in our marriage and in my well-being as well, because it is a lot. It is a lot to take on. Just being a kidney patient it's a lot, and then to add to that, work and other things that you want to do, and just having that support is great. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So, I asked this of all my guests on the podcast, and you're no different. So what different. A little bit. So I asked, do you have a quote, song, Bible verse, word, something that helps you get through the tough days?
Yeah, there's a quote that I follow is not only just in marriage or dealing. I don't want to say dealing with your kidney disease, but getting to know your kidney disease, and even when you're working out, the quote that I like to go with is, "Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done." Right? Because that goes along with, that just brings me to the times we're in the ER. We've been in the ER during Christmas time. We've been in the ER New Year's Eve, and we're counting on the clock in the room in the ER. And we don't get a room to 4 a.m. We've been there 4 p.m. the previous day. So that quote for me fits well, is don't stop when you're tired, stop when you're done. And another one is, there is no substitute for hard work. Never give up. Never stop believing. For me, never stop believing is never stop believing in what our Heavenly Father can do for us, for our marriage, and for this disease. And never stop fighting. Never stop fighting. Never, 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 never. I don't know how many times I can repeat that in my head. It's never, ever stop fighting.
Yeah, I like that. And, again, this episode is about, kidney disease because that's what, my journey has been. But it can also relate to any chronic illness. As a chronic illness person, you go through a lot. So this could also be used for that. Well, I hope you like this episode. And thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Juan, for being here.
You're welcome, Manel.
And I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode inspired you. If you like this podcast, please share on social media and tag me on Instagram @TheBraveandHer. I would love to hear your stories of bravery.